Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate that. There's the game at 7, so I decided to have the video on earlier so we can do this. Talk about what do you do when your spouse says, "I no longer find you attractive," when you actually feel like we are no longer, there's not that, the connection like it used to be. Thank you so very much for joining. My name is Tope Abiara, a professional marriage and family counselor. I'm actually doing this live video for the first time, like strictly for my Facebook audience. Normally it's always like on when I'm on the radio station, but today I decided to, because I've had many requests for this video for strictly Facebook and not just radio. So once again, I do say thank you for joining in. If you have any question at any time, if you want to say something, please type in the comment section. And I will always respond. So marriage, that's my whole focus. That's what I really do always talk about. Relationship, love, our homes. Mostly when we do get married, it is our desire that it will be forever. I don't think there's anybody that gets married with the intention of having a failed marriage. It's rare to have we shouldn't get married to you. It's gonna, it's not gonna work out. Everybody wants their marriage to work out. So, but sometimes as you get married, things change. It's not always what you expected. It's not always what you were wishing for. So, so today, like I said, we're talking about the attractiveness in marriage. Attractiveness in marriage. All right. I'm still here. So what is attractiveness? Actually, I went and looked it up. What is attractiveness? And I'm gonna, like this, we're using it to gain more knowledge. So what is attractiveness in marriage? First, I went online dictionary. It says that attractiveness is actually a quality, a feature of somebody that invokes interest. A quality, a feature of somebody that evokes interest. Like when the first time you meet your spouse, the first time that you want to, it's like there's something about that person that made you decide this is the person that I want to be with. But as time goes, so even by the time you decide to be married to the person, it's like, okay, that thing is there. It is the basis of the desire. It is what draws you to your spouse. Sometimes it could be the manner of dressing, it could be manner of talking, it could be, like the talking, the respect. It could be anything. Each person's attractiveness is different. What attracts me may not attract you. That's the thing about marriage. Like, each person's what the main base of their attraction, it could be different. But the main thing is, it's something that actually draws you. Something that actually draws you. Thank you for joining in. I do appreciate that. So, like, sometimes you see your spouse all dressed up and you're like, wow, is this my spouse? And you can't wait to be alone with the spouse. Hello, Mrs. Ademola. Thank you. So it's like, so, and this happens a lot. Like, maybe your spouse is dressed up and you see your spouse, or you see, maybe you're not even around your spouse and you see a picture and you're like, oh wow. It's like you can't wait. You're like so proud of, like, okay, this is the person that is my spouse. But when that thing is no longer there, there was a time I had a premarital counseling for a couple, and the husband to be was telling the wife to be that one thing I want from you is that I love your legs. I love your legs, and I want you to continue to always wear something that will show your legs. What I love most is your leg. So that's like what we're kind of like saying. Like, it could be one thing or the other. Like, it could be because you see the person knows how to cook, like, there was a man that told me when they were in school, when they were in school, when he met the wife for the first time, it was 6:30 in the morning, and he went to her hostel, and she had eba ready early in the morning at 6:30. Eba ti ready in 6:30 laro. And that man said that day, he said to himself, this is my wife. This is the person I'm going to get married to. Can you imagine? That's one of his own attractiveness. I'm trying to, I'm setting the line for, setting up for us. But, sometimes people change, things change, situation change, and it's like you now have to adjust. Marriage, don't get me wrong, marriage is for better, for worse. Marriage is for better, for worse. But there are challenges that we never foresee. And that's the purpose of this video, because there are some reasons that may make someone not to be attractive to the spouse anymore. There are different things. Hello, Ma, Miss Esther. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much. I do appreciate everybody joining in. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And like I said, if you have any question, any contribution, please do send a message. Yes, hello, Ma. Thank you. So there are things that could actually, there are some reasons why a person could lose attractiveness in the marriage. There are some reasons, and I'm going to mention a few. I'm going to mention a few. So if you know of any reason, you can also, contribute to this. So one of the things that can affect attractiveness in marriage is boredom. Boredom. Hello. That's Evangelist Owodogba. Thank you. Thanks for joining in. So boredom can actually affect, like, when you're doing the same thing over and over in a marriage, trust me, there's a tendency for this to happen. There's a tendency, like, tó bá jẹ́ pé all the time the same thing, kájí láàárọ̀, ká lọ bí iṣẹ́, ká tọ́jú ọmọ, when you're doing the same thing over and over, it kind of kills the spiciness in the marriage. It kind of kills it, because when you were dating, there's always that thing like, okay, I'm looking forward to seeing this person. I want to see this person. Do you understand? So boredom, maybe your look, maybe you can always, like, the changing of look. Maybe this time you have braids, next time you have like weave on. Like it all depends on you. It's a personal choice. But I'm just saying, like, boredom is one of the things that affect attractiveness in marriage. Is one of the things that affect attractiveness in marriage. The number two that I have written down is sickness. Nobody plans for sickness. Nobody prays for sickness. But it does affect attractiveness in marriage. When somebody is sick, the last thing on your mind, is that you want to look good, is that you want to think of your spouse. Like, God forbid, people that do have, thank you for joining in. I see you, thank you. People that do have, I know, Miss Ademola, she said, if he married the lady because of nice legs, what if something happens, like an accident? Does that mean he will have to divorce her? Okay, Mrs. Ademola, I like that question. Thank you for that. I I do, when I do premarital counseling, I come across a lot of things that I can attribute to immaturity, because you will see a man telling a woman, don't you ever gain weight. The way you look is the way you have to stay till we get married. Hello, thank you for joining in. So, like, and when I hear that, I'm like, you don't really have control over your look. I mean, you have to watch out, eat healthy, but there are some things like childbearing, like unexpected things can happen. And when I do premarital counseling, I try to let them know, like, you can't put the whole responsibility on that person. You have, I mean, there's the thing that you have to be mindful of yourself. Hello. I don't know if that's a Mr. or Miss Sheon Haruna. Thank you so very much. So we have to be mindful of our expectation in a marriage. Like I said, what about sickness? People that are sick, let's say like with cancer, if they get a chemotherapy or like radiation treatment, they start to lose their hair. The hair start to fall off. Like, you have to know that marriage is for better or for worse. I think, sincerely, I think it is very insensitive for any for a spouse to place a demand of look on a spouse. I do think so. But I also think that we have to own up. I do think that we have to be receptive to constructive criticism. I don't know if you want to get that. I need láti mọ̀ pé kò sẹ́ni tó pé, that sometimes there may be complaint, and kò yẹ ká rí complaint as that is a complaint, but rather be opened. Wípé, you know what, maybe bóyá ẹni yìí ò tọrọ náà dẹ̀ ló ń sọ. Let me actually take it. Let me look at it from his or her own perspective. Do you get what I'm saying in that aspect? So, so I was saying that sickness is one of the things that could, especially, okay, another sickness that falls, another thing that falls under the sickness is pregnancy. I do feel sorry when people get pregnant as soon as they get married. I'm sorry, I know it's my own perspective, but the thing is, I don't think you get to know each other like that, because as soon as you get married and the wife gets pregnant, tíyàwó bá lóyún, tẹ́ bá ṣe ń marry, tíyàwó lóyún, is like, what of, morning sickness, kò ní lè dìde dáná, and now you start to feel cranky, like irú èèyàn wo lélẹ̀, bóyá ọ̀lẹ ni, this person is so lazy, not knowing that it's because of the morning sickness. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Do you get it? Like, so, so I was just saying that pregnancy is one of the things that, some people while pregnant, they can't even get dressed. Some people go through morning sickness all through their pregnancy, not just the first trimester, all through their pregnancy. And so stuff like that, in the process, bóyá kò múra, kò look good that much, kò lè ṣiṣẹ́ ilé dọ̀tí, kò lè dìde gbéra ńlẹ̀, and it starts to now create a disunity in the union that's fairly new. I hope you're getting me. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. So that's one of the things when, hello, welcome, thank you. We're talking about, when your spouse is no longer finding you attractive. Now I started to talk about the things that could not, that could make you lose attractiveness. I talk about boredom, when there's boredom in the marriage. I also talked about when there's sickness. Nobody prays for sickness. By God's grace, we won't be sick. So there's the sickness, and also I would talk about like when people change in their physique. When people change in their physique, let's say they get like sometimes after giving birth, you don't retain the same physique that you had before, or maybe you as a man becomes bald. There's no hair on his head anymore, or like pot belly. A man that used to be slim. Men also gain weight as soon as they get married. After marriage, after wedding, our men do gain weight. Our men, they do gain weight. So that's another thing that that could cause so when there's a change in physique, when the person that you married is changing look. Maybe you like long hair. I've had counseling session with somebody before that prefers long hair, but the wife got her hair cut. The wife got the haircut, and because of that, the man was very upset. And I spoke to the wife. Okay, your husband likes long hair, but we got a haircut. When he met you, you had a long hair. So now you don't anymore. So what do? That one is even fixable. There's some stuff that's not really fixable. There's some stuff that's not fixable. Another thing that causes unattractiveness is nagging, disrespect. When your expectation in the marriage is not met. Maybe when you were dating, the way she used to give you so much regard, so much respect, but now she's always nagging at home. He's always complaining, and he's like, why all this? And it's like there's nothing that you do that makes sense. It's like you're trying all your best and it's not working. Because of that, the heart start to draw away. And that's how the attractiveness can become lost as well. Like I said earlier, it is insensitive for a spouse to tell you, oh, I'm no longer attracted to you. You're so big. I hear that a lot. I do see whereby, I'm sorry, our men, but I do see whereby the husband would tell the wife, you've changed, you've gained weight, and I can't stand the sight of you. I think even if you're gonna tell somebody, I think the choice of words, it makes a lot of difference. Like the way you put it down. Like, okay, because I do believe in communication in marriage. I do believe that we have to sit down together and talk, in order for us to know what's going on. Because if you do not, I'm sorry about that. if it was the radio, it would be a technical difficulty, but this is not a technical difficulty. Sorry about that. Anyways, so, but this is the thing. If you're going to tell your spouse that I no longer find you attractive, I think there's a way to put it down. I think you should not use the word that I no longer find you attractive, because you when you have a spouse, you're like the person that your spouse needs the most beautiful compliment, the most support, you know when somebody gain weight, because mainly that's like the most of the issue, like maybe gaining weight, or like dirty house, not keeping themselves, the manner of dressing, the mode of talking. I think when people do gain weight, it's not really like something. Sometimes ignorance, like you may not be aware, like you just feel like it's no big deal. You got married, you had babies, and now you gain weight. What's the big deal? I'm a mother now. People think like that. And actually, myself, I used to, I did gain weight after getting married, and not once did my husband complain. And I do appreciate my husband for that. He never said anything. But one day I said to myself that I just need to do something. And I went and joined the gym, and I also started to watch out on what I was eating. I started to eat healthy. I wasn't a big eater to start with. Not that I used to eat a lot, but I started to be mindful of carbs and fat. And I joined the gym, and I was so into going to the gym. And in a matter of 6 months, I lost 25 pounds. And I couldn't believe it, because it never occurred to me that I could lose weight. It never did. I just didn't think about it. To me, it was no big deal. I'm married now, I gain weight. And I think that's mainly what happens with when somebody gains weight. I think they attribute it to being, growing older. Like, I'm no longer young. Maybe as I'm growing older, maybe my dad was, my dad we had little weight, or my mom had little weight, and you start to attribute it to hereditary. You're thinking, okay, I got it from my dad, or I got it from my mom. So, like I said, sometimes we don't really think about it. But if you could just find a way, maybe you're gonna join the gym together before you put down your spouse. How about you do what you want your spouse to do it together. If your spouse, if it's looking good, if he's dressing up, you know take your spouse to go get a hair done, his hair, haircut. Honey, when are you going to the barber? Let's go together. Like stuff like that. You put it together. And I want to talk to people that maybe they are already going through such, that their spouse, you can tell that your spouse is no longer that interested in you, that you can't feel the vibe like that. And it's like your spouse no longer wants to be a part of, like when somebody no longer finds you attractive, they're not interested in doing things together. They stay separate, even though you're married. But the way things are, you can tell that these things, things are not really working out. Oh, thank you. And I think that's liking from Pastor Aderomu. Thank you, sir. God bless you. I do appreciate that. So, but what I'm saying is this: if you have such from your spouse, if your spouse is complaining, either verbally or just through the actions, the number one thing I want you to know is this: don't let it affect the person that you are. Don't become depressed from it. Don't put yourself down because that person that you're expecting love from is no longer showing you love. That's the number one thing. That you still be happy within yourself. If you are happy with, that's the number one thing. If you can take a good look at yourself and think to yourself, you know what? Things may not be right, but you're not letting it put you down. You're not becoming depressed. That's my number one thing to you. That you will maintain your insightfulness into life and not lose your focus, not lose your being because you know because of the way the other person is. The number two thing, I mentioned it earlier, is that you should be open to constructive criticism. You yourself take a look. If your spouse is not talking, if your spouse is like just nasty in words to you, just nasty in actions to you, you know, take a good look. Think about how you started. Think about where things could have changed, when things changed, what really happened, you know? And, while doing this, I don't want you to be blaming yourself. I actually want you to actually take, like, okay, what could it be? And maybe you guys can have time out together and talk together and be like, okay, honey, I see that things are different. I see that things are no longer the same. What can we do? Like, is this something that like, be open, have an open mind to criticism. Have an open mind to criticism. Another thing is this: don't because that things are not going right, or that things are not going according to your expectation, now be involved in an affair. Don't look for that don't look for that attention outside of your marriage. You can gain it back in your marriage. The moment you look for attention outside your marriage, you have given up on your marriage. You have given up on your spouse, that it can work out. And you can't do tit for tat because your wife or your husband is being nasty at you, because your spouse is being nasty at you, does not mean that you should be nasty back. Does not mean that you repay back with the same coin. you know have a good support system. Have a good support system, like your friends, like your family. The thing is, in such an instance, it is not good to actually, because that's why I always talk about professional counseling. That's why I always talk about professional, like you prefer go for professional counseling, because you don't know the mindset of your friends. You don't know if the advices they are giving you is actually for selfish reasons, or like to hurt you. So I always advise for professional counseling, because when you go for professional counseling, you can actually get to the bottom of what is going on. You can, because when you go for counseling, you will talk in depth about what has been going on, how this all started, and from there you'll be able to figure out, okay, this is when things change. Oh, this is when this happened. And always talk to your spouse for assistance in the manner maybe you're not able to do it on your own. Try to get the attention of your spouse. Hopefully your spouse will be willing to work with you. I do believe with counseling. I do believe with professional counseling that things can actually do work out. It may take time. It will take work. I say this very often. Marriage requires conscious effort. Marriage requires conscious effort. You gotta be willing to do the work. You can't just get married and become complacent, become comfortable, and feel like this is it, till death do us apart. You have to be willing to work on your marriage, like when you were in a relationship before you got married. before you get married. And so I don't know if you have any question. I don't know if there's anything that you would like to address, or like maybe you have a contribution. Please, I would love to hear from you. Do text in your contribution towards this. And I do want to say I really do thank you. That thing finally fell. All right, I do want to say thank you for joining in. Thank you so very much. So uh, do I would like to hear your contribution. So anybody, and I want to say this: when you lose attractiveness in the marriage, it affects the sex in the bedroom. It does affect it. Um, Even the thing is, there has to be spiciness even in your sex in the bedroom. That also is also important. You can't keep on at the same thing, like the same way you started when you got married 5 years ago is your same style till now. The marriage is all about, like, another thing about marriage is you can't be too rigid. Be flexible. I've talked to men, and um, one of the things that stood out to me when I spoke to some men was that they like for their spouse to be interested in having fun. Like, just be fun to be with. Don't be too rigid. Be fun to be with. Be fun to be with. Don't make life too serious. Men don't like that aspect. Don't make life to be too serious. But I just want to do a recap that I said that if you are currently going through that right now, if you are currently going through that right now, like whereby your spouse no longer finds you attractive, number one thing is don't put yourself down. Don't be depressed because of it. Don't lose hope on life. Don't lose your focus on life because your spouse is not finding you attractive. The number two thing is be open to constructive criticism. That is, take such criticism with an open mind, because nobody's perfect. There may be stuff that you actually need to work on, and if such is, if you need assistance in actually working on it, you can actually ask for your spouse's help to assist you in being the person that they would love for you to be. You have to understand one thing: before you should get married, there should be that attractiveness. There should be that attractiveness. So it got lost somewhere, and you can regain it back. You can regain it back. So that right there, and support yourself, your support system, like your family, the people that you support yourself with. But do not talk negative. Do not talk negative about your marriage to anybody. Do not talk negative about your marriage with anybody. Be careful of the way you put down your words. And I also said that you should seek professional counseling. Like myself, I'm a professional marriage and family counselor. This is what I do. I when you seek professional counseling, it actually does help, because when a professional also join in what is going on, it will help to pinpoint what exactly is going on, and be able to give you the guidelines on what to do. Thank you so very much. If you want to reach out to me, I'm available. My phone number is 347-777-7342. 347-777-7342. My Please do like my pages. I have Love Clinic NG on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Love Clinic NG. Love Clinic NG, one word. And if you have any topic, if you have any concern, like I am very I am not non-judgmental. Like, I don't judge when it comes to this. I don't judge. Another thing is your situation is safe with me, very safe, very confidential. You will never hear what you tell me outside. If like, you will never hear it. Actually, if you want me to use it like to make a video, I will still protect your identity. Nobody would know that is your situation. So you can always reach out to me, because that is one of the things that people do. People are scared of the confidentiality. It is part of my professional ethics to actually protect your identity, to for the confidentiality, and I do that. So like, once again, thank you so very much for joining in this video. I know you have the soccer game very soon upcoming. So thank you. um and I said I do also speak at weddings, and also I do seminars. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye bye.